So Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is super close to coming out now. There's a lot of news that keeps coming out. We keep on getting new trailers. We keep on having a lot of speculation as to who the next trailer is going to be. And I know I've been a big proponent since, not day one, but for the past couple months, saying that like GT and movies are going to be DLC. And I think I still hold to that. There has been some people saying that they're not going to be in the game at all, which I think is preposterous, just based on the fact that you can tell the characters are actually being used as the same base models that they used in Tenkaichi 3. This is the same thing that they actually did with Raging Blast and Raging Blast 2. They used the same base models, but they just up-res them and changed them a bit. Sparking Zero is definitely doing the same thing. You can tell the skeletons or the underlying polygons or whatever mesh that they were using is actually still going to be the same basis for that. You don't just throw away all of that, you know, stuff that you have laying there at your disposal and like create things from the ground up when you have that to like work off of as a base. It's not a good business decision. That's why I'm like pretty sure that all the stuff that was in Tenkaichi 3 is going to return. I mean, whether we've seen the rumors of like the menu where you slide over from Beerus and the announcer is switched to King Vegeta, the slots that we have available are what we have to work with, that we know we have to work with. True, they could add more characters, true, but you gotta think about this from a business perspective. Of course, they're gonna add like a lot of popular stuff for DLC. Like you can't just say, all right, let's include Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta, and let's say Baby in the base roster and everybody else will be DLC. Well, who's going to buy that DLC? Because that's literally the 3 most popular characters from GT. So now you're saying that like everybody else is going to be DLC. That would be really bad on their part to try to coax people into purchasing that when all of their favorite characters are pretty much already included, save for like maybe Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and Mega Shenron and stuff like that. But when it comes specifically to that, I think that since the models were already in the base game for Tenkaichi 3, we're obviously going to be getting those characters. Just depends on when. If it comes up to any kind of doubt, that's the best scenario that we have, is that they're already using like similar models, so we're going to be having all those models they already had in 3, just repurposed as DLC, and that's going to make the game a lot more money. Whether or not we're sticking with this 20 plus characters per DLC pack, or how often these packs release, is a completely different scenario. So I don't think there's an issue about them not coming as content for the game. I just definitely think it's going to be DLC, and I know this might not be anything new for people. I just want to give my reasons why I'm okay with it now at this point. There's 164 characters in the game, and for those of you who haven't played Tenkaichi 4, which is the fan mod of Tenkaichi 3, that actually has a ton of super characters in it, so it might not feel as fresh to those of us who have actually played that game. But for those who haven't played the game, if you're coming off of Raging Blast 2, or if you're coming off of well, let's not even mention Ultimate Tenkaichi, but if you're coming off of like Raging Blast 2 or Tenkaichi 3, this is an entirely new experience because you get all of Super to have those characters to play around with. And it'll be interesting to see how different they are from the fan mod also. I'm very curious to see how that actually runs out. There's gonna be no rollback netcode, which I guess in 2024 you would build your game with that being in there. There's probably difficulties in adding that in there with like maybe the environments or anything like that, the 3D arena. I'm not exactly sure. And besides some of that, I wanna actually read the rest of the interview right here. So I wanna read it and put it on screen so we can actually read it together, just so we can have a full kind of understanding about these quotes and what they said and what they meant. So we're gonna start that now. The last piece of information we were given concerns the character select interface, which until now was thought to only be temporary for the demo. In reality, Furutani confirmed that in the final game, the menu dictated on the roster of the fighters will not be very different from what it was seen so far, something that will turn up more than a few noses. And this is something that I was actually a little bit upset about too. It looks all over the place. I like how they used to do it in Tenkaichi, where like they just have the base character and then you select the base character and it lets you select which transformation of that character you actually want. I thought that was a much better interface than having like all of their faces are just in a profile mode, like looking down the side, because it just looks like a little confusing and ridiculous, because there'll be like 20 kajillion Gokus and Vegetas just there, and it's like really hard to differentiate which one is which based on that. So I think that that is a stupid decision, and I hope that does get changed eventually. But according to this, in the day base launch game version we're playing, according to Furutani, it's not going to be different than it was in the demo build, which is a little disappointing. Furutani told us that he would personally like if they could overcome some technical limitations in the future and allow local multiplayer on other maps, but for now, at least officially, he can't say if that's something that will happen. There are no limitations of this kind for online multiplayer, although that too is still being tested. Part of the more competitive community was wondering if the game would use a rollback netcode, always very welcome amongst fans and online fighting game communities, but the producer confirmed that this will not be the case. A couple more details confirmed. First of all, not only will the Tenkaichi tournament return, a pillar of the series and a mode that's always loved by Dragon Ball fighting games, but as Budokai Tenkaichi 3, there will be different variations of the tournament, each with its own set of rules. The producer did not go into too much detail, but given the massive presence of the characters from Dragon Ball Super, we are ready to bet that amongst the various options, there will be the Tournament of Universes. Bad news for those hoping for the return of Mission 100, the survival mode that added spice to the single-player experience of Budokai Tenkaichi 3. In Sparking Zero, there'll be no option for 100 challenges, explains Furutani. However, by fiddling around, you can customize the bonus battles to have similar experience. You won't be able to get to 100, but you can still have a good number of enemies. We've been debating on whether or not to bring back the old mode for a while, but I think the bonus battles will ultimately offer more variety. People are putting their nose up and I guess saying, from what I've talked to people saying, like, this is just another like Dragon Ball game at this point. It's not the big kind of love letter to the Tenkaichi series that we were led to believe or thought it was going to be. I'm still on the fence of that. I still think it looks pretty good. I'm gonna have fun playing it for sure, but the lack of rollback netcode coupled with the fact that they're not gonna be bringing back classic modes that were fun for the single player experience in a game that already has like not as much diversity of single-player experiences that we would hope for, coupled also with the fact that the user interface is not going to change for the character select screen and it looks bland and people have been saying since day one that they hated it. That's a little concerning. And with about a month away, like, I think we're still hoping that there's going to be some changes that are happening, but I think right now all they're doing is working on like a day one patch for like bugs and stuff like that. I don't think we're doing anything development-wise when it comes to changing that stuff, unless it's like DLC related. The game's already been platinum for a while, so I don't think there's anything with that. But we can always change and see things differently. Hopefully they do add some stuff. I am still super excited to be able to play this game because it's been a while since I've had a yearning for Tenkaichi. Like, I do have Tenkaichi 4, and I also have all the Tenkaichi games. I have almost all the Dragon Ball games, so I can still go back and play all them whenever I want, but I am wanting like a new one, so I am kind of excited for that. Barring these little things that are disappointing, I want to know if you're still excited about the game, or what do you think about the interview where Furutani was talking about some of the things that we're not going to be getting or not changing that we thought we were hoping were going to be changed. Let me know in the comment section down below, or join us on Discord. But that's going to be the video for today, guys. I just wanted to go over a few thoughts about GT and the movies, and I wanted to go over this interview. And if there's anything you found interesting, please give the video a like or a comment in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, I love it. Thank you.
And thank you.
Ivy Valentine subscribes to Mark Yoon, so should you. Enjoy your treat!
Bye.